Hello. Today I will be talking about the variety of journalistic contexts to express interviews through. I shall be covering 4 styles of ways to present interviews, and they are TV, radio, print and online. The first one I shall be covering is of TV interviews. My example for this will be through the Doodle Cinema Club interview about their time at Tennant's Vital Festival.
Okay, we are at the Tennant's Vital Festival 2011 and look who we have now. We have got Two-Door Cinema Club, the triumphant homecoming. How are you feeling today, lads?
Excited, yeah.
Didn't feel very triumphant. Felt like would have wanted a bit more parade or something. That would have been triumphant.
So there wasn't a parade in Bangor when you got here?
I know, can you believe it? Been very, very quiet today.
Yeah.
Disappointment.
I walked home and nothing.
No mobs.
No mobs.
It must be amazing to have the Tennant's Vital Festival, a festival of this size, that you can come back to do something of this magnitude.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, when we were younger and we wanted to go and see shows, it was only ever local bands, which was great music, but you'd never see anything from outside the country. It's absolutely fantastic when that things like this are being put on in Northern Ireland now, and as well as us being able to come back and play for all the people we grew up with and stuff like that. It's also great that younger kids can come and see international acts and stuff like that. It is a really cool thing.
There's lots of bands from around Northern Ireland as well. I mean, you're probably the jewel in the crown of that, but there are plenty of other bands. It's a good showcase for them, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, definitely saw Plastic Rose and Yes Cadets and Ramspocket Radio. They're playing over there today as well. I don't know. There's a lot of good, great, fantastic Northern Irish talent that's playing over on that the Radio 1 stage over at the side today, which is really great to see, because I think also with it gets the younger kids in touch with the local scene, and this Belfast music scene was so important to us in other bands.
Who was it? Was it Ash you were listening to growing up, or who, Van Morrison, or who were the influences from around these parts?
All of those. I mean, you've got to take all of that as a huge inspiration. Seeing anything come from this small country and make a success of itself is definitely a huge inspiration. And I mean, knowing that it's possible, Ash and Divine Comedy, Therapy, Snow Patrol, Van Morrison, anything that's come from here, and all of that, it is incredible that such a small country can make such a huge impact.
I think for us though, growing up, it was mostly smaller bands who were just like friends of our friends, or people we actually knew firsthand. It's kind of, you don't really know how to start a band. It's just something you can do, with your friends. I think it was kind of a bit of a strange thing for us to initially do, and then we just saw people a few years older than us doing it, and just doing pub gigs and church venues and things. And
for us it was like Six Star Hotel, and so I Watch You From Afar, Kowalski, Panama Kings, Fast Emperors, bands like that, which sadly a lot of people probably haven't heard of, which is and it's really important that we put a lot more focus on the music that's up and coming in Northern Ireland, I think.
Have you any message to the people coming to Tennant's Vital, or for your hometown of Bangor?
I think at the moment it's bring a raincoat.
No,
I think it's so amazing that we can be here and to play to 30,000-40,000 people, and I guess I would say a majority of the people coming are I would say new fans and people who've discovered us in the past year, and I just want to say thank you for supporting us, and then especially all the people who've been with us since we were playing those tiny bars in Belfast, and who stuck with us and believed in us, and I guess we have a lot of family here as well coming down today, so
it's really
the mother will be in the front.
Really the messages.
Where were you last
year?
In this specific interview, the interviewer introduces the band by being sent to focus on the monitor, explaining the scenario, where they are and who he is interviewing. He then goes on to build confidence for the band by asking them simple questions such as, "How are you?" This allows the band to feel a lot more relaxed in their surroundings, which then allows the interview to go on developing. Point says, "Such a small country can bring good bands, what do you think, etc, etc." This then leads to expand on the points to gain further information. Through the interview, the interviewer does stick with specific points like open questions and suggestive styles. He doesn't really direct any asked questions, as it is about the festival rather than them as a band, making it unnecessary to ask in that form. It is also a very light-hearted interview built for entertainment purposes only. For my next journalistic technique, it will be focused on the use of radio for the interview promotion. I shall be using an example from K-Rock Radio as they interview Blink-182 on their past, present and future.
106.7 K-Rock is KROQ, and it is 8 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Yeah, my girlfriend takes me home when I'm too drunk to drive. 'Cause when I'm with you, there's nothing I wouldn't do. I just wanna be your only one. My friends say I should act my age. What's my age again? I couldn't wait till I got home to pass the time in my room alone. Use me, Ollie, come on and use me. All the small things that's happened once again, I'll turn to a friend. I'm feeling that fate fell short this time. Your smile fades in the summer. Fell in love with a girl at the rock show. She said what, and I told her that I didn't know.
Back together for the first time in more than 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's the return of the Mark, Travis, and Tom show. Blink-182 joins us in studio.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, guys.
Wow, we wrote a lot of songs in that little montage there.
You did.
That was
I know
great.
that we have seen all of you multiple times in the last 4 years, but it's so great to see all of you back together again in the same room. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And this is kind of like our hometown in a way here. K-Rock has always been. I always hear Blink songs when I drive to Los Angeles. It's great. So thank you guys for having us.
I was thinking back a long, long ways to the, 1993 or 94, something like that. I remember you guys played in the old building that we used to be in over in the Valley. And you guys set up and performed live during the show one day. And remember how crowded and crappy that station was? Remember how tight it was in there? And you guys brought in the big amps and everything like that. And I think Travis was playing drums back by the jock lockers or something. And it was so loud in there. And it was so great. And I remember how much fun that was. I was like, I can't believe Blink-182 is playing in our office right now.
Yeah, salespeople are walking by, hitting cymbals. I know. That wasn't good. All right, let's start with this. I am a body language expert, just so you guys know. The TV show Lie to Me,
Right.
based on me. Here was you at the Grammys.
We used to play music together, and we decided we're going to play music together again. Blink-182 is back!
Now, it's not possible for you three to have been more spread out on the stage.
Well, let me address this because I've actually
you guys were yelling, "Hey!"
Here's what happened: is we show up at the Grammys, and Travis and I were there like an hour before we were supposed to go on. And the people from the Grammys kept coming up and saying like, all right, you guys got to get ready. We got to take you to the holding area. You guys got to get ready. And Tom, they sent a car for him that never showed up.
Good.
And they were like,
I'm important.
Maybe they didn't want you there.
and literally the lady was like, if you guys don't have a full band in 30 seconds, we have to cut you from the show. Oh. And at that time, Tom walked right in. And they're like, we got to get you to the stage. We got to get you to the stage. So they rush us over to the stage. They put us in this holding area. And they're like, okay, now they're going to do this thing. And when I say go, you walk out. And you walk up to the microphone. You start talking. All right. And go. And so
was that fast?
So it's like everyone's clapping. And then we walk out there. And there's no podium. There's no like woman standing, beautiful woman with a statue or anything. It's like,
you didn't win a Grammy.
I was beautiful.
And there's no microphone. And I'm walking around the stage wondering where we're supposed to go, and I'm looking at camera people for some help, and I almost walk directly into the microphone that's like the Bob Barker microphone coming straight up out of the thing.
Like 10 times tall. You know what I remember was weird is when we walked out, I swear people thought we were like the crew dudes coming out there to change. I mean, no, because it was like the way they filmed those shows for TV, because it wasn't. Was it live or not? I don't know how it was, but
yes, it's live.
But they have all the music comes on and comes down. They direct the audience, but it's in an arena, so it's like massive.
Right.
And so the music came down. They're changing people. We walk out, and I think people are so confused as to what's happening. It really was odd.
So you didn't hate each other at that moment?
No, that was a good. The funny thing is, like, we were backstage, like hugging and high fiving each other, and
kissing,
like getting all teary eyed, and like, oh, can't wait to do this. And then we get out there and have no idea what we're doing, and it's just deer in the headlights.
It wasn't anger; it was confusion.
It was absolute, abject confusion.
Glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
There was so much. I mean, you guys, pretty active online and interacting with your fans. I mean. But I think you have to have even been surprised with how happy people were to hear the announcement. Not that they didn't still love each of you individually and follow all of your respective music projects and stuff like that, but people really, really wanted this to happen. Didn't you get that feeling?
I did. I think that, I think people, I don't, I talk about it every day to whoever will listen. I want to go. I can't comprehend the size of this band or the importance to, I think, people's life as they're growing up. Because I remember when Mark and I and Travis were doing it. I mean, we.
As for this interview, the interviewer, like every other one, starts with standard "How are you?" to get things going. He then starts developing his questions by asking very colloquial style questions such as "Back together, are we doing any gigs?" This allows him to go have a very standard interview following the suggested structure. The nice thing about this interview, he is able to open and close with the same concept, using the opening and closing music montage. Also, during the interview, the interviewer uses a variety of question types, all from open and suggestive to very direct questions as well, trying to gain full variety of information from the band, as it is through radio communication skills is minimal. However, he does lead on from a point the band makes, showing that he is listening and he doesn't just accept. On to our next journalistic technique, which is done through print. The one I'll be using an example of Michael Harriman's interview about Wickham Wanderers and Gareth Ainsworth. As this is pre-recorded and set interview, the interviewer chooses the best questions to put them in order of preference. This has tailored no real structure to the interview. There was a slight opening to the interview with a bit of praise, but besides that was about it. The interviewer likes to use a lot of multiple questions and direct questions in his interview. Obviously, because it is about Harriman himself, it makes sense just to direct questions about him and at him. The idea of the multiple questions is just to gain more information from him to present to the viewers. Again, like the other interview styles, it is very light-hearted and for entertainment purposes only, just a present source of entertainment. For my final analysis, I will be decided to do the final interview review on online styles. This specific one will be taking about the Mark Hoppus from the band Blink-182. Very much like the print styles, the producer chooses the most relevant and interesting questions, which were asked and put them in relative order. There isn't any flow in the questions asked, so barely any structure is formed. However, it does close with "before we go," which indicates the ending. This specific interviewer likes to use a lot of open and directive and suggestive questions, trying to find out as much information as possible about him and the band, as the public want to hear. As per usual, it's very light-hearted and is used for entertainment purposes rather than the life-depending information. Overall, I believe the main purpose is just to allow the viewers to expand their knowledge on the matter, so overall it's just an entertainment set which can be presented in multiple ways.